Insight, please.
21.
21. Okay, you can tell something is definitely getting closer, and it is big.
It's a huge bitch. It's your mama. Oh!
Elliot, do you want to go over your notes?
All right. Here are the notes. Season 6. And by season 6, I mean session 6. That's better. Thank you. I haven't gotten that wrong. All right.
How long have we been playing? 6
Forever.
seasons.
6 seasons worth, apparently. All right.
Does that mean we get a movie?
Could be. After clearing the room of those 3 red brands, Ian encountered a room of 3 bugbears and a goblin who fainted on Ian's appearance. Ian was set upon by bugbears, and Lorrei managed to wedge a barrel on bugbear, who ended up throwing off the barrel and critting another bugbear in the face with it. Good stuff.
Yes.
Ian, Lorrei, and Ikki were knocked unconscious during the fight, and sadly, Zukar perished after suffering a fatal attack whilst trying to fend off the last couple of bugbears. Dr. Cottage was the last man standing and managed to barely survive the last bugbear in a one-on-one fight where the bugbear fortunately missed on several attacks, while Dr. Cottage kept stinging him with his spores. Good stuff. After the group were revived by Dr. Cottage, Lorrei was distraught when finding Uncle Z had perished in the fight. The fainted goblin turned out to be a prisoner of the Red Brands named Dwoop. Grieving from the loss of Zukar, Lorrei didn't realize that Dwoop was a prisoner. Lorrei screamed in anguish when she saw Dwoop the goblin, thinking another enemy had appeared. Lorrei's machine mind took over, forcing her to summon a homunculus in the form of her lost sister Sarah, who sent a force strike at Dwoop. Luckily, the shot missed Dwoop, who also fainted from the shock of Sarah's appearance. After getting calmed down by Ian, Lorrei rested with Sarah on a bed while the group all rested for the night. Later, the group encountered and dispatched 3 skeletons and 2 red brands who were guarding 3 prisoners, Myrna Dendra and her 2 kids. The prisoners were set free with Ian's guidance to the exit. With Dwoop's guidance, the group circumvented a floor trap and found their way to a secret door connected to a large room room with a fountain in it. After some perception checks, Dr. Cottage noticed that there was evidence that something had emerged out of the fountain and had escaped to this dungeon. Not sure what it is. The group dispatched the last 3 red brands left and finally left the dungeon. Lorrei and with Ikki's help transported Zuko's body to the surface, where they buried him near the edge of the clearing. The group headed back into town where Ian encountered the mayor, Harbin, while Lorrei walked to the smithy to find comfort being at Mary's place in the smithy. Silda Hallwinter appeared at the town hall while Ian accused the mayor of not properly protecting the town. Silda agreed with Ian and dragged the mayor over to the prison and locked him up. Gladstaff, who is the head of the Red Brands, is now on the run. Lord Iano Elbrecht seems to be working for Gladstaff. And Gundren's Rockseeker, who is Silda Hallwinter's colleague, is still missing. There you go. Notes.
Well noted.
Good job, bro.
I have to restart my PC. It thinks my alt button's stuck down, which means I can't type or do anything.
Gotcha.
Because I'm clicking.
Have you tried unplugging the keyboard and plugging it back in?
Yep, it's a software thing, and I don't know how to fix it, which is super aggravating. But I'll be right back.
Okay. We left at the situation where you guys were dealing with Silda, and he locked up the town master. That's where we pick up again. Now, you guys have not had a long rest at this point, I do believe. And Sildar said he was sending off for help. He didn't quite say, but you expect it to take a few days before help arrives. Now, what would the party like to do? Now, Lorrai's still in the smithy. The rest of you guys are in front of the town hall.
And I'm assuming this is Dwoop. Yep, there he is. That's Dwoop.
Yes.
Cute Dwoop. Boop, boop the Dwoop. All right, kids, what are you doing?
Just buried a good friend.
No, one of us did. No, two of us did.
Wow.
The Lochman's coming back.
You're very quiet, Emily.
Yeah, I can barely hear
How
you.
about I
at all.
put the microphone down to my face like
There
a
you
noob?
go.
Can I?
Too loud.
No, you're fine.
Can I please go and check on Lorrei and make sure she's doing okay?
Yep, you're free to move your character piece as you so desire.
I've got to find Lorrei. Where are you, Lorrei? Oh, yep. So, yep, blended. So I'm just going to go and just kind of wait for you to come out.
Mhm.
And then I just want to check in on you when you're finished. I'm just kind of pacing around outside.
Got it. I can continue considering no one else knows at the moment. In the smithy, Lorrai's like walked in, obviously like really downtrodden, obviously very depressed and sad, walking in and to seek out Mary in the smithy. Is Mary there?
Oh, hey, lass. What can I be doing for you?
Lorrei just kind of walks in, sees her, and just kind of like said, "I lost a friend today."
Oh, dear. She's a bit awkward, considering that you're a metal construction. She doesn't feel comfortable going in for a hug or anything, but she's like, what can it be that helps you today?
I just want to sit down somewhere that's nice and
Sure. And she pulls up a chair. It's relatively close to the forge.
Yeah. All right. Well, Lorrei sits down and just watches the embers and just stays silent.
Mary just says, if you need anything, just let me know, yeah? And she goes back to working on the forge, just tink, tink, tink.
Sweet. I like it.
What's everybody else doing?
I don't know.
So you recently did talk to the mayor. Do you need to know anything for quest things if you need a refresher?
I'm not sure what we're up to.
Well, okay, so you guys have come from the manor. Have you guys had a long rest? I'm not sure. Do your character sheets show full health and stuff?
Yeah, we had a long rest at the end of last.
Cool. So you buried Zakar. Lorrai's disappeared. She's off at the smithy, and you guys have had your long rest. It's the next morning. Did you have a long rest before or after you spoke to Silda?
I don't think we actually have had the long rest. We buried Zakar. We came to the town. We talked to the mayor, and it hasn't actually properly concluded yet. So we actually haven't had a long rest yet.
Okay, so
That's where we wrapped up.
Yeah, the sun is low in the sky as the late afternoon encroaches. And you, as I was saying to the party before, Sildar said he would send for help, and he sent off a raven with some notification, and that's gone off to Neverwinter, and he's called for reinforcements to help you guys. Since you lost a party member. Did anybody have notes for other hooks written down?
Maybe.
I can go through what those hooks are, but I don't remember who you've spoken to and who you've not. I know some of who you've spoken to based on what's written on the map.
Would you like me to point out the ones that we know?
Go for it.
We have a quest at the Shrine of Luck, Sister Guerrera. It was persuade a banshee about a book. Banshee can answer questions if you give her the book. There's potions of healing as reward, and Banshee Agatha needs to be bartered for vanity jewels, silver comb.
Okay, so I'll summarize that one for you. Sister Garel wants the characters to seek out the Banshee Agatha in the ruined town of Conyberry and ask about Bogental's spellbook and where it is. And she has some potions of healing to help with that. What else have you got, Elliot?
As in other quests?
Yes.
There's a quest to the northeast with undead at the ruins at a ruins ancient magical empire Theferal. Undead.
So there's a Quellen Elderleaf has suggested that the characters go to the ruined town of no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Darren Edamath wants the characters to find out who is lurking near the ruins at the Old Owl Well. What else?
The Old Owl Well. There's a quest to the northwest at Thunder Tree.
Okay, Quellen Elderleaf has suggested that the characters go to the ruined town of Thunder Tree and consult with Druid Radoth, who might know the whereabouts of Cragmore Castle, Wave Echo Cave, or both. Sildar Hallwinter wants the players to find Cragmore Castle, search for Gundren Rockseeker to rescue him, and retrieve his map. The map is to Wave Echo Cave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quests on. I've got a few. Currently have 4 quests.
The Sildar Hallwinter also speaks to you at the parties. One thing that was left out last time. He says that the town master had been notified of a orc encampment near the Werventor area, and he wants you to chase the orcs out of that area as well. He says it'd probably be easier once reinforcements arrive. Cool. So those are the 5 hooks you have available to you. The sun, as I said, is setting.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the party want to go? What does the party want to do?
The next quest? Do we have a witch to help?
Which? You mean Banshee?
Banshee to help?
So that quest is Sister Gorel of the Shrine of Luck wants the characters to seek out Banshee Agatha in a ruined town of Conyberry and ask about Bogental's spellbook. Payment for that is some potions of healing. But yeah, as I said, it's the day is drawing to a close.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, what do you want to do for the rest of the day?
Rest of the day? Nada.
Cool.
Let's call it a night. Let's go to sleep and let's wake up and sort something out tomorrow. I'm really tired for this. It was a rough week. I thought I lost a soul, but yeah, it's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I'm going to stay very close to you. Forgotten your name. Lorrei. And even though I find sleeping or standing around on the floor quite bizarre, I'm going to stay as close to you as I can. Still there.
Hi, kitty.
That cat. I'm dying over. Okay, so that leaves Droop is still with you as well. And he's like, how can I help?
I hate Droop.
You hate Droop.
He's like the Dobby or the Jar Jar Binks, right?
I mean,
My camera doesn't want to turn on for.
that's fine. That's
Not for safe.
I believe you're there.
It's all good. Okay, so Dr. Cottage and Ian, Droop is still hanging out with you. What do you want to do about this goblin that's sort of getting some uneasy stares from people around him? I'm not sure if you've spoken to him, had conversations.
Do we give him a sock? I don't know.
I don't think that works in this.
What is the status quo?
So happy you said that.
I'm not sure what to do with Droop.
Okay,
Because
Droop came about when you guys were in the manor, and he gave you the general layout. When you first found him, he fainted, and he was scared for his life. And you guys felt some pity on him. And Droop's like, I can help. He told you the layout of the manor, but yeah, now he's a free agent. What do you want to do with him?
what can he do?
Are you asking him?
Yes, what can you do?
I can help. What you want? What do you need?
Just what can you do?
He kind of looks around, like he looks behind him, sort of not giving you guys eye contact, and just sort of shrugs and holds his hands up, like,
Hey, little shit.
he looks all the way up at
Hey,
Cottage, like,
hey, why should I keep you fucking alive? Why?
Wow.
I
needs a
do no harm. You freed Droop, was prisoner. I can help find stuff. What are you looking for?
Wine stuff, eh? Oh. Well, can you find me some more weed then? Can you do that?
He looks at you inquisitively, like expecting you to elaborate a bit more on that.
You know, like the magic powder that makes you go loopy, you know? Like it makes you like live a dream.
Show him what's in your baggie.
He's getting the idea. Do you show him what's in your bag?
Yeah, I take out my pipe and I give him like, here, I light it. I have one. I have.
You have about 7 grams of it. Anyway, you open up.
Yeah, I have like it's been a rough day, so I have like 3 grams, like a really strong thing, and I just give it to Droop to have a drag.
You're giving Droop he smells it. He's like, mystical weed. Mystical. You want the mystical weed.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize that you're offering him the pipe.
Here. Smoke some
I feel like
mystical
that's
weed.
safe.
No, droop, no touch. No touch.
But you know where you can find some more from me? That's
Oh,
what I'm asking.
He's thinking he's not too quick on his feet, but he's like, I guess I can.
I guess, okay. That's good. All right. Well, I've got 7 left, so I've still got enough, but if you can find me some more, I'll greatly appreciate it.
Droop nods. He's like, yes. Fine for big tall man. Okay. And he runs off at a slowish pace, just continues out into nowhere.
This is gonna be like one of those surprise emergence characters, like I found some in the middle of the fight.
Well done.
He's gonna steal it, isn't he?
Oh no.
You never know.
Have a drug cartel after us.
The DM is unaware of Droop's intentions. So
You essentially have a drug runner now.
okay,
He
so
is very wise and feels that this was a terrible idea.
okay, what is the rest of the party doing? What are we doing for the next several hours before you rest? Because there's still the sun setting. There's probably several hours before you guys are going to call it a night. What's going on?
Well,
we could
Lorrei.
sell some things.
Yeah, that's true. Lorrei, in this case, is actually falling into a sentry state where she's been watching the embers for a little while, and she's just kind of shut down to a just sentinel state. So she's just staring with everything around her is just kind of switched off to a perception.
Doing the blue screen.
Kind of more like sleep mode.
So Mary's sort of finishing up for the day, and she comes over to you and says, "Oh dearie, I've got to close the shop. Can we? I can't have you stay here."
She is immovable.
Can I hear this conversation through the window while pacing back and forth and enter the room?
Give me a perception check. We get a first roll.
Holy dolls, I need to go back to my other screen. Perception, correct?
Yeah, just click on the number next to.
Yep, just logging in. Okay.
Oh man, so unprepared. The DM is not
Plugged in.
Oh no, just my screen went thingy.
You're cool. Just take care of this.
Perception, I can't find it.
It's alphabetical.
Got it.
Yep, click now.
Got it. And I'm rolling a 19, 23.
Okay, yes, you've heard the entire conversation. You know exactly what's been said. What do you want to do?
I'm going to enter the room, and I'm going to check on Lorrei and just slowly touch her arm. And Lorrei, are you there still? Can you hear me? And just wait a minute.
Mary looks at you, Lorrei, a little bit, doesn't know what to do.
I say to Mary, look, I'll try and take her from here. We've had a big day. We've had a loss. We're all quite exhausted and devastated. It's been pretty terrible. I grab Lorrei's hand and I grab both hands, grab her left arm, and my wing goes around her back, and I just try and usher her slowly out the door. And I'll take her back to where the party is.
Sorry, Elliot.
Say again?
Lorrei doesn't move.
Dang.
Okay, Mary goes over and attempts to help move Lorrei. Emily, give me a strength check with advantage. Lorrei, give me a strength. Do athletic.
Athletic or strength for me?
It's- athletics is the same thing. So if you
Okay.
right click on the athletics number and roll
Yeah.
advantage, please.
Got it.
So just a
Got it.
one
Oh,
small
my-
plate for me.
So my strength is. Oh no, I read stealth. That would have been awkward. Okay, advantage.
Quietly.
I'm rolling a 11 and 11.
Lorrei is completely unmoving. You and Mary just can't seem to get Lorrei to budge whatsoever. And Mary, flustered and frustrated, turns to you and is like, well, how long did she do this for? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Just lock her in my shop?
Well, if I haven't seen her do this before, but if you don't mind, I will give you something, and please just leave me in the shop with her for the night and come and check on us in the morning.
She crosses her arms. She's like, well, that's something better be gold and nothing better be missing from my shop, or I'm have to get the town master involved, you know?
You can trust me. I will give you a piece of gold. Leave me here, and nothing will be moved through the night.
Piece of gold.
Some-
Sort of shady to be run here.
What did Elliot say?
I was gonna say, like, are you gonna offer up some food? Here you go.
No, I'm trying to be respectful. That's for me later.
Mary's flustered and frustrated. She's like a piece of gold. She's absolutely disgusted in your office. Roll me a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Jeez.
Oh no. I have rolled an 18. Nat 20 and an 18.
Well done.
Not
Done.
bad for disadvantage. Jeez.
Mary's just like, look, I hope you sweeten the deal by tomorrow, but fine. You want me to lock you in here too?
I would love that. And look, if there's anything in the shop that I could do for you in the night, I will do that while staying awake and watching her.
Look, as long as nothing goes missing, nothing gets destroyed, I've got no problems, all right?
Deal.
All right. All right. And she leaves and she locks the door and leaves you both in the shop, and she heads on home. You guys are both now locked in the shop.
Cool.
All right.
Did we know that they went to that shop?
You don't necessarily know Lorrei might have been there, but you saw Ikki go there.
Okay.
So what's the rest of it?
I guess we go to the inn.
Sure. So it's just Dr. Cottage and Ian.
Yep.
I'm heading.
How much? What did you smoke 3 grams?
Yes, I did.
You're gonna have to start rolling, don't
Are you alive?
Wait, did you do that at the end of the last session? Because I don't remember you actually rolling for that.
Well, I just had one now just for the end of the day.
Right. Okay. Yes, I do remember that. You failed your check. I got to bring up the item now. 1 second. All right. The Sleeping Willowwood Pipe. Okay. Yeah, you were just incapacitated for a minute. You've sort of out of your trance at the moment. You still have a +1 to wisdom and charisma checks for an hour. We'll say that it's on the tail end of that wearing out.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys both enter the Stonehill Inn. There is Mr. Stonehill, and he's like, yeah, can I, so many voices. Can Yeah. You lads need another room.
What do you mean need another room? We've been booked for the week, brother.
Oh, yes, of course. Double checks his ledger. Apologies. Did you want me to send some food up?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've got the munch. So if you could bring some munch up to my room,
I'll
that'd
tell
be
you
great.
what. Take a seat. We'll bring some ales around. We'll bring some food. We'll get you sorted. So you guys settle in at the table, and eventually the barmaid comes around. She brings out the food, sets it down as like a nice big plate of slow cooked meats and potatoes, covered in gravy. You got some fresh veg in the side. It's a hearty meal, even for a man of your size, Dr. Buddy.
Very good. I will enjoy this.
And 2 tankards of ale get put down in front of you both.
2?
1 each.
Oh, I
God.
don't think I can handle 2. Jeez.
Oh, good. All right. So you guys, is anything else happening? You just have your meals.
Happy meals.
Happy meal. Oh, I like this happy meal. This is a very good meal. I'm very happy.
Now, where's my toy? Picking it out of your teeth.
All right. This meal more than satiates you both. You're quite appeased, and the sun is.
And I call it a night. I go to my room and I knock myself out.
Are you smoking more, or are you just going?
No, I just
Actually hitting himself in the face.
Yeah, that's no. I'm just gonna crash. I'm tired, so I'm gonna go to my room and I'm gonna go sleep.
All right, Ian, same for you.
I mean, I haven't seen. Here, I had a room to myself, so
You have a room to yourself.
I wouldn't see that people not being in my room would not be an issue. So yes, I go to bed.
Cool. Okay. So the is there anything happening to Lorrei, Elliot?
It'll 6 hours later.
6 hours later. Okay, so Ikki would be still fast asleep.
It's up to her. Oh, sorry, him. Up to him.
So okay, 6 hours later, Lorrei sort of wakes from her trance-like state, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything happening, or you just fell asleep?
It's a long rest. It's a sentinel long rest.
Right.
So just the. So let me just quickly.
So everybody can just make sure, if you haven't already, just cycle another long rest in character sheets.
Okay. So, all right. So, shall I continue? Is Ikki? Were you asleep? Also, hi, Eden. Jeez.
Because of the sadness of the day, I can't sleep, so I'm just kind of sitting as close as I can to you, almost leaning on you, and just waiting for you.
Okay, so you don't get a good night's sleep, is this correct?
I feel like I might stay awake till early hours of the morning and then eventually fall asleep.
Okay, but you won't get a full 8 hours sleep is what I'm being specific about.
Yeah.
If
Your
you
face
do,
tells me I'm in trouble.
say again.
Your face
has-
tells me I'm in trouble.
She has already had a long rest, like everyone, after the
That's correct.
fight
That's
and
correct.
stuff. But yes, she's
But this is a different lapse of time. I mean, it's been like a month and a half since we last played, or 2 months, whatever it's been. been a long time. So, Ikki, if you do not complete a long rest at this time, on your character sheet under conditions, you need to add 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay. Under conditions.
Yep. So it's on top right of your character sheet under your health. You'll see conditions in grey. If you click on that, a menu will come up, and at the bottom you'll see exhaustion. I need you to select number 1.
Look at that. All right, done.
Just to help with the circumstance for you, Lee. When Lorrei sat down, she essentially became into sentinel state for 6 hours from that point.
Yep.
So is it just still? Is it still just late night at that point because the sun was still up? Well,
well, the sun was setting. We'll say that it's still dark. Like Mary hasn't come back to open the shop. But yeah.
Yeah, as in like it would be like midnight-ish or something like that.
Midnight, early morning.
Because like just
kind
to
of
help.
a construct. Just
Because like this happened when it was still daytime, so technically.
Well, it was evening, but what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Forget the semantic.
Hours later, Lorrei wakes up. All right.
Yep.
So I'll just say that.
Cool.
So we'll figure out if Ikki's awake at this point.
Ikki is not awake. Well, we'll say Ikki's been asleep for an hour or so.
Okay. Yep. All right. Lorrei sits up and then stands. Unawares to Ikki's presence, even though Ikki is close by. I'm assuming sitting quite close or touching next to her.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be like partially leaning on you.
Mm-hmm.
Emily, give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Oh, sorry. Let me do it again. I didn't hit disadvantage.
It's all right.
It is a 15.
15. You do not feel Lorrei get up. You fell asleep quite late. You pretty much passed out. You went straight to a deep sleep. You don't notice Lorrei doing anything. Lorrei, what are you doing?
All right, let me quickly. Where is it? So Lorrei walks over to the forge and selects a hammer, and goes over to the anvil and begins striking the hammer itself. Sorry, striking the anvil with no metal there.
Okay.
Seeming to work on something that doesn't seem to be there at the point for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah. And as she's striking it, all these sparks are going, more sparks than there should be, as if there were an actual molten bit of metal that was there. She's striking something empty and it sparks. It's just going it's going everywhere at this point.
Lorrei is completely dead to the world.
Correct.
Doesn't hear any of this.
Mm-hmm. And it's just hammer, 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 hammer. And then finally, with a final resounding strike that rings on the final strike, the sparks fling out, but then freeze, and then fling themselves all into one point and start actually combining. And from that spark, that spark that seems to grow, it starts morphing itself larger and larger and larger and taking form. And after just only a few moments of it getting wider and taller and shaping, there is a figure now standing in front of Lorrei. And after it finally takes shape and it seems to cool as if it were molten hot and then calms down to metal, like cool metal, it stands in front of her and holds out its hands. And Lorrei, kind of coming to again, looks at it, and then after pausing and just staring at it for a sec, reaches over into satchel and pulls out Uncle Z's sword and hands it to it. And it collects it and puts it away. And she goes over to this form that looks exactly like Uncle Z and gives it a hug. And then after about a few minutes of her just being quiet, hugging this thing that is hugging her in return, with no words spoken, she eventually releases him, sits back down, notices Ikki near the hearth, sits back down with Ikki, kind of drapes the wing back over herself and just lies in with Ikki and goes back to a more normal sleep as the form of Uncle Z just stands guard over them both.
Oh, that is quite horrifying.
As in, stands at guard, not facing them.
Okay. I'm just looking something up real quick. Actually, Emily, what I'll get you to do is just a regular straight roll. Can you please give me a Constitution saving throw? So saving throws are top left of your character sheet.
That's great.
A 3.
You got a 3?
Yeah,
Okay, so that exhaustion takes place. You are exhausted
I'm
from
just down.
lack of sleep. So you are level 1 exhaustion, which means that you have disadvantage on ability checks until you complete a long rest and remove that exhaustion.
Go.
Okay, so you guys have settled in. This automaton stands near Lorrei and just doesn't say a word, just stands there and guards you for the rest of the night. As the sun rises, the Mary comes in, opens up the shop, and sees Lorrei and Ikki, and then this mechanical monstrosity, and she is stunned. She's like, "What the hell be that?"
Can we hear this and wake up?
Well, it was loud enough. Lorrei may or may not wake up. Sorry, Ikki may or may not wake up for it, but Lorrei, you've had your long rest. You're aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say?
Lorrei wakes up, seeing Mary, and
Mary just goes head to the automaton. It's like, what's? And she starts looking around her shop to see like if any of her stuff's been touched or moved or used, and she doesn't see anything. Like, I locked you. What?
It's okay,
Is it the
Mary.
same size as Zakar was?
Yes.
7
Same
foot
shape,
tall.
same look. Sorry?
7 foot tall.
Yep. It's okay, Mary. This is just he's a friend. It's okay.
Right.
Sorry for being in your force last night. I needed some time to think. Sorry.
Mary's just stunned and dazed. She has no idea how to comprehend the situation. She's like looking at Ikki, who is Ikki. Did you wake up or not?
I mean, I'd like to wake up. Can I wake up now?
You can wake up if you so desire.
Have I had a long rest?
You have not.
I'm gonna have to nap all the way. Laura, you're gonna have to carry me while I sleep.
Doesn't work that way. That's not a long rest.
Oh, today's the day I die. I feel good. I wake
Yep.
up.
Mary's like, okay, so that gold you were talking about better be mighty fine because I'm gonna have to explain this otherwise.
I kind of blink really hard while I'm waking up, and I look at Lorrei and just feel this massive sense of relief that she's awake and okay. I see Mary's face, and then I see the form of Uncle and just lose my mind. Just
Feathers go everywhere.
yeah, I'm starting to shed. I start to regurgitate, but I don't. And I look at Lorrei.
Ikki, it's okay. It's okay, Ikki. It's okay. trying to.
Mary backs up in this situation. She gets her hands on her hip and she starts tapping her foot.
You want your gold, yeah? Let me just get my bag and I'll get it for you. Just a sec.
She's wide-eyed and starts nodding at you like, yeah, you better hurry up.
I start fumbling. I'm dropping things out of the bag. My hands are shaky. I find a piece and I just yeah. Thanks. Thanks again for thank you.
How much
yeah.
gold do you give Mary?
She has 25 on her if that helps.
Say again.
You have 25 gold on you at the moment. And you probably spent one.
In my haste, I grab 2 pieces and just thank you. Yep, thank you.
Mary stops you. It's like, hold on. There better be more than 2.
Oh, how much are you after?
For this, it better be at least 15.
15? How about 12?
Okay, give me a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Oh no.
Looking for 15. Oh,
I got a 6.
she shakes her head like, you need to pay up.
Yep, got it. Here we go. I'll give you this. I'll give you 15. Thank you again. Yep. And I just fumble through. I count the 15, and I just pass it over.
Pleasure doing business. And she puts it in her smithy's apron and lets you out in the street.
As I walk out, Lorrei goes, "Oh, I'm sorry for the trouble," and grabs the coins that she has on her too, and just gives her the bag. It's just like, I only have this much, and it's
Mary's quite delighted by this. She's like, she feels the weight of the bag. How much is it?
It's not much. She only has a gold and 9 silvers.
Oh, so she weighs the bag. She's like, thank you, Darren. Appreciate it. And she pockets that too, and she lets you all out into the street.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Lorrei. What? How did? I don't. What? What's the feather?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be here a week.
I think I did a thing last night.
Yeah, you did. What? How did you? Are you? I fell asleep just to check on you, and how did? Is he? What?
And it's okay. He's like Sarah. It's okay. He's here to protect us. I don't want any of our friends to hurt anymore. So I think I made him to
you
help.
Okay?
A little better now. Yeah.
Look, I can't replace what you've lost, but you know that this thing isn't Uncle Z anymore. You can't just make him again.
Automaton turns towards Ikki and just puts one hand to the chest with a sword and just bows in your direction.
I've gone from puffed out feathers to really aerodynamic, tall, and just kind of look around without moving my head.
The automaton stays completely still bowing towards you.
What's it doing?
Bowing. Trying to be nice.
What's doing? Bowing.
Does it hear?
I think so. Yes.
What do you call it?
I just call him. Well, I guess if it's not Uncle Z, he can just be Big Z.
Big Z. Hi, Big Z. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Like he's gonna rename it, isn't there? It is Big Z.
Big Z finishes bow and just stands attentively and steps to the side, just leaving a pathway free for whatever you need. It's about this time that's going on that Ian and Dr. Cottage wake up from their slumbers, and it is a fresh day. You head down to the tavern. The smell of bacon and eggs and some stew is to be smelt. What are you two doing?
I'm going to eat that. That's what I'm
Yeah,
going to do.
give him the food.
All right, so you guys settle into some food. What are the other two?
I would like to ask Dr. Cottage where the others are.
I don't know, actually.
And it's at that point that we walk in the door.
I'm walking quite close to Lorrei, and I'm still wide and just a bit dumbfounded and just looking for the reaction.
Goblin is just cleaning a glass at this point, and he sees the two of you, which he's expecting. But then he sees the automaton, and he just stops polishing his glass, just looking. He's like, well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, and just goes back to cleaning his glass.
We are very.
Does the automaton look exactly like Zakar?
Yes.
And
Metal.
only carrying a sword.
The automaton, when it moves, you hear the like
so cool.
making sort of semi-heavy thuds as it takes a step at a time. It's quite a sizable mechanoid.
Okay. I'd like to flatly stare it in the face. Is it wearing clothes?
Yes. It's wearing what it looks like it's wearing right now.
Okay. Firstly, where the hell were you guys?
Look, I went to find Laura to check on her because, you know, she's been there my whole journey, and I was exhausted. She shut down, and I don't know.
So where did you stay? Because you weren't with him, and you came in the front door.
I found Laurie at Sarah's, and she just wasn't moving. She just froze, like solid, like an oak tree, and just stopped.
So where did you stay?
Well, in the shop with her.
In the smithy.
Ian, you noted.
I guess it's nice that you got a free night of accommodation there.
You
did have a room here.
Ikki is visibly exhausted. She does not look like she had a good night. He does not look like he had a good night's sleep.
What? You look like shit.
Yeah, thanks.
The fact that I can tell that while you're a bird says something.
You want to split you in twain with my talons. Look, I know I'm tired. It has been we are all grieving, and then she shut down, and I don't even know. Just give me some food, and can I just eat, please? Just leave me alone for a sec. I'm just needing. Give me food.
Get Tweety some food, please.
Tweety, excuse me, daughter.
I'd like to go over to Lorrei.
Toblin's already organised the barmaid. She's coming around to plate, unfamiliar with Big Z, and just puts him down at the table, forgetting that Lorrei doesn't eat.
I'd like to beckon Lorrei to lean down to me.
She does. She leans down.
I give her a little flick in the forehead and say, "This is not a healthy coping mechanism."
She like flinches back a bit and kind of looks a bit abashed and a little confused.
Could you have made this any different?
I don't know. It just happened. I don't know these things. Sometimes things happen, and I don't know how they just happen.
Right. Come in. Come chill.
I sit next to Ikki, and I push my portion's worth over to Ikki.
Okay. So while
I reach over and grab it.
While you guys are enjoying an amazing, flavorful breakfast, the bacon, just bit of cooked tomato and mushroom with toast. It's fucking delightful. I feel like I'm now myself. Anyway, it's at this point a stranger starts walking into town.
I sense a stranger.
You guys are aware of this at the moment. You guys are just settling down. You notice that this. You don't notice anything at the moment, but this character walks into town, makes their way down to town hall, where Sildar is out front and takes a look at this person, sort of furrows his brow, but just waits as he approaches.
Okay.
I'm gonna just casually, as though I've got all the time in the world, walk up towards the town hall. I'm gonna look Sildar up and down. Say, I take it that you have some authority in this town.
He sort of gives you the body language that he agrees with you, but he's curious about your proposition.
I'm glad I found the right person. I heard there was some trouble, and I don't like wasting time talking to all of the functionaries and the go-betweens and the middlemen. So, since I found the person who can, be most helpful to me, by me being most helpful to him, I've saved myself a lot of time today.
He pops up. He's like, "The name's Sildar Hallwinter. What can I do to help you?"
I put my hand out and say, "Mortimer. You can call me Mort."
He hesitantly, reluctantly reaches out and takes your hand. To what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, I understand that this town has had a few difficulties in the past weeks, and I'm here to offer my services.
He looks at you quizzitively, like, what do you mean? How did that word get around so quickly? I mean, I don't know it's a small town, but you just walked in.
News on the road. Caravans pass, I talk to people. Anyways, to make it short, I heard there was some adventuring, and I'm here to adventure.
Are you from Neverwinter?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Did the Lord's Alliance send you?
Not directly, but all the guilds and all that sort of stuff. It gets a little complicated. Point is, I heard that there was some things to be done in this little town, and so I made my way here.
Well, hopefully it seems that the Raven was efficient last night. Clearly got the word out there sooner than I expected.
It can be amazing how quick they can travel.
Stilda has no idea about bird travel and flight patterns. Just sort of takes your word for it. And he's like, "Yes, of course. You must have flown all through the night." Unfortunate to say that we lost someone yesterday, and the party is waiting just over there in the inn. You might want to go and introduce.
Thank you for letting me know. I will definitely introduce myself to them, and from there we'll make a plan. Was there anything specific that you had for priorities, or are they already appraised of the overall situation?
I mean, they're already up to date, but we really want to get a hold of Gundren Rockseeker. He's been missing for a few days now, and there's some delicate information that he has that we need to get sorted sooner rather than later.
I will help keep them on track in that direction. And
appreciate it, Mort. Appreciate
I will bid you a pleasant day.
He's thrown off by your niceties, and he's just like, who the fuck is this guy? But he's like, sure, I understand. Just through there, and he sort of just steps back and leans against the wall and just watches you as you take leave.
I'm going to walk over to the to the inn, and
in you go.
Yep.
Okay, so
that was a graceful entrance.
Let me fix that. Anyway, so as Mort enters the establishment, what do the rest of the party see before them?
They see a young-ish male, human, average height. He's wearing some rather well-worn, but quite effective-looking armor. Somebody who's obviously spent a lot of days traveling on the roads. He looks, however, even though for all they know, he just rolled into town, he doesn't look like he's walked all night. He doesn't look like he's even spent days on the road. They remember how many days it took to get, with their wagons, and he looks like he rolled out of bed, cleaned himself up, and just wandered in for brunch. And he takes a long, sweeping gaze around the tavern. Is there anyone else in the inn, in the dining room at the moment, or is it just
there's a few people? Just ignore the tokens while I mess with them. there's the barmaid, there's Tolbin, who's polishing a glass. He looks up, he notices you and says, "Can I be getting something for you, stranger?"
Breakfast would go quite well. And
he calls over the barmaid, and preparations begin underway. It's like, coming right up. And that starts making its way.
I'm going to see the table that the rest of that the group is at, and I'm going to walk over, not quite directly towards them, but I'm going to walk over and I'm going to be looking around, and I'm going to look directly at Dr. Cottage and say, I thought for a moment I might have to ask around as to who the group of adventurers were, but I seem to not have had any trouble finding you. And then I will turn to everyone else and say, my condolences on your loss. Tell me, the member of your party who you lost. I've only heard that you were waylaid in your last excursion, but tell me, what happened? Tell me about them.
Lorrei seems confused.
Look like that. And I point to the automaton, except slightly more living.
Ah, I see. Well, if you have a Goliath in your party, I am sure that they fought bravely, and their songs will be sung for many generations by their tribe.
They will?
I'm giving you a raised eyebrow look. I don't know how I feel about this. And who are you?
My apologies. And I reach my hand out towards you. You may call me Mort.
Morty, nice to meet you. Shake your hand.
I was going to call him.
Yes. Are you not terribly familiar with the cultures and the ways of? And I look again at the large automaton, and then I'm going to look curiously down at Lorrei. Of Goliaths?
Only what they've told us.
Ah, well, they are, lesser known in many of the places, but yes, they remember their fallen, and it is in their culture to the greatest honor is to fall in battle. So I am sure that whatever they did was noteworthy and will be remembered.
Yes, well, thank you. And I go back to my meal.
And I'm going to grab a chair, slide it over, and I'm going to sit down and just sort of glance around the table. Everybody else seems to be eating, so I'll just, my breakfast comes, I'll just...
As your interaction with Ian's taking place, the barmaid comes around, drops a plate in front of you, and a tankard as well.
Whereabouts are you?
I look around at the other tables in the establishment. I'm sure it would be more comfortable with a bit more elbow room.
My apologies. I did not mean to intrude. However, I have it on good word in this town that there are some things to be dealt with, and that you are the group doing the dealing. So I thought I would offer my services and assist you in your.
You're the one that they sent for.
Yes.
Headset died. Give me a sec.
Okay.
I think you can still hear me, but I cannot
Yeah.
hear a damn thing. So yeah.
Well, you can't hear us anyway. Boys, whereabouts are you sitting at the moment?
Just at the table with you guys.
Like between people.
I would have probably guessed that the biggest space would be between, probably between Dr. Cottage and Ikki, although I don't know your names yet, and probably sitting so somewhat across from Ian, but definitely not between Lorrei and Ikki.
I hop down off my stool and boost a seat, and I walk under the table and I go and start tapping your armor and looking at your weapons. Sort of
I
poke
can
my head a
assure
little
you,
bit up from the table and say, "What's your thing? Like, is it leather armor? Is it steel? What does it look like? Is it cloth?"
No, it's studded leather armor.
Okay, cool. Weapons? What do I see?
You see that I have a across my back. I have a light crossbow, and I was walking with using a quarterstaff as a walking stick, and you do see a couple of daggers tucked into my belt. And I look down at you and say, "I can assure you, my diminutive companion, that I do handle myself quite well."
Phrasing.
Oh, hang on. I need to find a D8.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
10, 12. Where are you then? Oh, good.
He's old.
I grunt at the diminutive comment and slightly narrow my eyes. And
If it is a sore thought,
look at the daggers and say, "Do you use these in your hands or do you throw them?" If we get
That's a
into a
bit of a-
fight, do I need to watch my swings or will you be a little bit further away from me?
Oh, sorry, I was wondering where that question was going. Oh no, you will have very free range of swing if we enter into combat.
I walk back under the table, climb back up onto the stool, and just sit on my booster seat.
All you can hear is like the weapons that you have on your back just like scraping the other side of the table. There we go. All these tables have a lot of scratches on the underside these days.
As you know, breakfast is sort of winding down. I'm going to look around at the group and ask everyone. So, is one of you sort of in the lead of this little merry party, or are you sort of all, freelance in this endeavor? What brings you to this town?
We were hired to come here to bring some things here, and there's been, you know what, from the many towns that I've actually been in, this is the most dysfunctional.
Oh, good.
It's had the most issues.
Yes.
I mean, there's a banshee that we have to talk to. Like that's not normal.
Yeah, no, I can see that being a bit unusual, but I'm beginning to see the lay of the land, as it were. So, did you have any interaction with this Gundren Rockseeker beforehand, or do you know anything more specific about him?
Was he the person that hired us?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the person that hired us.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Employers going missing is never good for business.
No, that's not ideal. We have been paid, but as I said, this town is odd. Things keep popping up, and we
Yes.
kind of want to at least help get him back. Like, he shouldn't have been lost on the road.
Yeah, that's not a good mark on the
Mhm.
resume. But now that I'm here, I'm sure we'll be able to track him down and find him.
Do you have some tracking
Hopefully.
skills?
Well, I tend to be able to find what I need, but I don't think tracking in the manner that that you might be imagining. I'm not one of those wander through the wilderness talking to the trees. And I turn to Dr. Cottage. No offense at all intended. But you know how some of those, lone bow-wielding, tree-talking weirdos can be.
Yeah.
It take a long time to see.
Of the human variety, and I look back. I don't. Talking trees is different than people who talk to trees. To be clear.
Lorrei has a little chuckle there.
By the way, Ian, you get an inspiration point for role playing. I love it.
Mhm.
Where do I put it?
It's next to your.
Right next to your walking speed.
Next
Walking speed.
Yeah. Turn it into the sun.
My
So do we have any leads on where this where Mr. Rockseeker may have gotten to?
Honestly, not really. As I don't remember.
Yeah, no.
We found a place where it looked like he could have been held, but he wasn't there.
I'm going to start looking a little bit more closely at Lorrei or Ikki or Dr. Cottage, just sort of like anything that you know.
Mhm. I guess I'm kind of shying away from your gaze, like. I shrug.
I'm too grumpy to know that you're looking. I'm just eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently pecking away at the utensils.
I imagine Zoidberg.
Yeah.
Whoop, and when I'm finished, that's how I run away.
With feathers.
So when you put the food in your beak, do you put it at the end of your beak, like it's the start of your
at
mouth,
the end,
and then
I
or
chuck
do
my
you
head
put
back
put
and
it
I.
right at the right at the back of the beak
Yeah.
and
No, at
slide
the
the
front,
fork out?
please. I don't use forks, mate. If anything, if I really wanted, I could just grab it in my hands, throw it, and catch it in my mouth and just go for it.
I'm gonna get you some seed.
It's like
That'd be nice.
because like you're covered in like food on your beak and stuff. I get like a napkin or something and I start like wiping your face and then
I just do the bird shake head thing and it just flicks everywhere.
Ikki.
That's why they call me Ikki, guys.
Oh no.
Alright, Lorrei has a chapter. Giggles, there you go.
I realized that no one has actually introduced himself. So I'm just pointing around the room.
Mhm.
I mean, as you just said, he's Ikki. Don't mind him. The big guy is Dr. Cottage. That one's Lorrei. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about that one. That's new.
I can take it from your tone. And I look again at the automaton. Would that be that'd be a history check, yeah?
What are you trying to decide?
Just if I know anything about them, like what if it's likely to be a threat to me or what sort of situation.
Give me a history check. The DC on this is pretty high considering you're such a low level and your history.
You rolled the 20 all up.
30-20.
Unnatural. Jeez.
Okay, so you've heard about these beings being created. You've heard of automatons and so forth. It's not whether they're dangerous or not, it's whether they're dangerous towards you. And this one is being perceived as absolutely no threat to you whatsoever. So you feel relatively comfortable. There's no, you don't sense any sort of threat. That's about as much as you can gather.
Okay. And then I'm going to look over at Lorrei and say, this is your handiwork?
She kind of nods. Yes.
On the one, very, very impressive. And now I know who I will be listening to very closely. But I must say, I am quite impressed.
He perks up a little bit and says, thank you. I kind of did it by accident, I think. But thank you.
Especially if this is what counts as a accident, I think we'll get along just fine.
Oh no.
I'm Lorrei. Hi.
Pleased to meet you, Lorrei. And I'm trying to remember, your voice is not at all particular, is it? Or is it the voice of your past self? Yeah.
Sounds it. Yep.
Yep. So, shall we embark?
So you guys have all finished your meals. It seems to be like maybe 7 or 8 in the morning. What do you guys want to do?
Lorrei does
going to be going around the town at any point just for a wonder? Because if you do, I might just have a little bit of a nap in a tree.
The only way to recover exhaustion is to have a full 8-hour uninterrupted rest.
Lucky this coffee set in because I'm awake, baby.
Look, we have to find a missing person. That's kind of a big deal.
Yes.
But
also,
we have no leads.
Considering what happened last time, all of my health potions are completely gone. I feel like delivering the thing for the Shrine Lady would be helpful.
Oh, we have options. Excellent.
We've been promised health potions, and I'm not sure. It sounds like it's a quick thing.
Seems
Sounds good to me. I
pretty
think we
reasonable.
definitely need some health potions.
Do you
for sure.
have any health potions or any equipment on you that is useful to the party?
I have my normal traveling equipment, but I can't say that much of it will be much use to anyone other than myself, unfortunately. I
That's
left
fair.
in quite a hurry and was not entirely sure what to prepare for. So we will need to, if we do need to reprovision, as you say, from your last encounter, it sounds like it was quite harrowing. Then we should do that. And if the best way to do that is to, run a few errands, then errands we should run.
Everyone else?
I'm down for getting potions. I think that will be. I think we definitely need that if we're gonna go into battle again and complete our main quest.
All right. So I'm going to stand up from the table and kind of start moving towards the door. Are we going to go then? Kind of
Yeah,
gesture.
sure. Let's head out. Before Dr. Cottage stands up, I climb up onto his backpack. Take a seat.
No,
Very nice. Lee showing off his goods. And then, you fool! You wrote it! The illusion is ruined.
I was getting a dice tray out just so I can. I still haven't worked out how to DM roll some dice when I need to.
But quick dice is always good.
Okay, so you guys are going to set out for the Banshee.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been
We're
given
delivering
direction.
something? Is that
Sorry.
we're delivering something? Is that the thing?
So, just to recap, since it's been so long, you were given a silvered comb and a mirror, or bejeweled or something like that.
Yeah.
And you were told that the Banshee would know the whereabouts of Bojentle's spellbook, and that you can offer those items as a gift, and she will tell you the answer to the question that you need.
Meta, but I believe Zukar had those, and so I think Lorrei has them now. I think Lorrei took his small possessions.
Sure.
Pretty much everything, full kit.
Oh. I might have to add some things to my character.
It's okay. Look, for narration's sake and brevity, we'll just say that you've got those items on you. It's been too long between sessions, so
Yeah.
you guys
There
are
is a list. There is a list somewhere, and that's fine.
cool. Okay, so you guys are heading out.
Yes.
All right.
Lorrei,
So
you go on the roof. Make that easy for you. If you're asking a decision when people are moving, Lorrei will be the last one to move because she's following.
it's all right. We're just going to narrate until it's necessary. So you guys head out. You set forward on the road. It's about a day and a half, 2 days travel. And who's leading the party?
Man, I'm on Dr. Cottage's backpack,
So
basically dangling a bud in front of his face to get him to walk.
Wow.
So I basically just want to know who's making sure that you guys are on the direct path to this Banshee.
Well, I'm chilling with Lorrei.
It would be me and Dr. Cottage at the front.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay. Well, either one of you, can you give me a survival check with advantage? Dr. Cottage or Ian, just call it out who's brawling.
I'll roll.
Cool. Survival check with advantage. Just right click on the number to select.
Nice.
Cool. You are making excellent time. You figure exactly which way this pathway is going, and you make good time. And it's like there's a slight rain in the air. Lorrei finds a rock that kind of looks like a smiling face, but sort of just lets it go, and you eventually you've traveled for about 8 hours, and you're looking for a place to rest. And Dr. Cottage, can you give me another survival check with advantage?
Another one.
Mhm.
Haven't done many rolls. I want to roll. I want to roll. No, I want to roll dice.
I do the things. You can do it.
14.
Beautiful. You find a relatively stable place in the brush, and you guys sort of set up. You've got a few hours before you take sleep for the night. Is there anything you guys want to do?
Not.
Set up camp, I guess.
No worries. If there's nothing in particular, we can, for the sake of brevity, speed things up. You guys just gonna pass out and go to sleep?
Oh. Should we... Who's going to keep watch for the night? We're gonna set
I'm
up
gonna.
traps or anything. Is there anything that we can do before we go into the night?
To get Ikki, you're going to need a full long night's rest. You can't do sentry watch.
I'm asleep already, my friend.
There's going to need to be 3 sets of watch, so you guys take breaks sleeping to staying awake to keep an eye out. So I need a first watch, second watch, third watch.
I'm gonna.
I'll
be
take
first.
watch.
I'll be whatever's left over.
So
New guy.
Who's taking first watch?
I am.
All right, no worries.
New guy, you can take the middle watch.
Yep.
I don't want to be woken up in the middle of my sleep.
No, that's understandable. I'm gonna look to Lorrei. Your companion.
That's Big C.
Oh, yes. Big Z. Does he require sleep? Will he also be on watch?
I don't think he gets sleepy. He can probably just be there. He can watch.
Excellent. That will be good to know. 2 on watch is always better than 1.
Okay, so we've got our watches planned. Okay, so you're all settling in for the night. Let me just because I can.
Come on, combat.
Oh shit.
And then a June worm comes out of nowhere. And you're all eaten. The end. Ugh. Hey, kitty.
New campaign, okay.
Not again.
All right, I'm loading up just a random map. There might be pieces on it. I'm just going to delete them all, so don't worry about that.
Deleted.
I won't look at it at all.
It doesn't matter. This is I was running the same campaign for friends.
Your friend in the fridge.
Friend on the front. Okay. Do that. Yep. Now, let me get you loaded up. Wrong one. Object. So you guys just need to pick a camping spot. Anyway, it's fine.
I think Cottage is doing the camping spot because he did the nature check. Sorry, the survival check.
Yeah. You guys can decide as a party where you want to set up.
Where will we be camping, Mr. Cottage?
That's a good question. What looks cozy to you guys?
You'd rest against the log over here, I guess. If I could ping, that'd be great, but I can't ping. I don't know why.
Tab.
Let's go over here.
Tab.
Let's go over here. What about over here? Nice
Over here?
clearing. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, you guys just put your pieces where you want to be sleeping.
And I'll keep watch over here.
Whoa. My scroll is doing something weird.
Oh, you might have to click with your mouse wheel first. And
Oh, no, it's my tab thing is pretending like it's tabbed again.
Are you okay to keep going?
Yeah, hang on. Settings, ease of access.
Stupid computers!
Yeah, seriously, this is the most annoying one. It says my left alt key is held down. It's not the keyboard because I've tried a different keyboard.
What keyboard are you using?
Ducky 12 SF.
Does
But
it
I've
have-
tried just a different Logitech keyboard and a wireless keyboard, and it's the same thing. So it's not a stuck key or anything.
It might.
It's
is
not
there a
sticky
chance
keys
that
either.
it's- Yeah, I was gonna say because if it's an accessibility feature, that might be it. But
No, it's not.
We can
It's
try.
really annoying because I've got on-screen keyboard up now, and it says my alt key is pressed. So I click it, so it's unpressed, but it's still pressed. If I hit Tab or R or
Just reformat
anything,
it'll be fine.
yeah.
yeah,
redo all the
never
keyboard.
again. All right, we're good.
All right. Dean, can I get since you're on first watch, can I get a perception check, please?
Who's running back? And
Perception. Natural 20, 24.
Natural 20 for 24. That is
He sees
great.
everything.
and you're surprised by an attack.
So you actually feel you're sort of resting down in the grass, and you sort of feel this slight tremor. It just almost like a heartbeat. You just like a very slow pulse. Just
Like a dune worm?
and you can tell it's getting a little bit more intense. Is there anything you'd like to do?
So I'm feeling a tremor from the ground.
Yeah, it's a pulsing tremor. And the intensity is picking up ever so slightly. Just a
Oh.
Is it very slight? Like very mild, but
it's a mild tremor, but it's just
Is it moving like? Is it getting like? Is it increasing in intensity over time, or is it just
yes, it's increasing in intensity. You can something. Give me an insight check, please.
insight?
Insight, please.
21.
21. Okay, you can tell something is definitely getting closer, and it is big.
it's a huge bitch. It's your mama. Oh!
Hey.
Dr. Cottage's mama is very big.
Guys, something's come and it's big. Guys, wake up!
We're
Something big's coming.
All right, so you managed to rouse the party as you sort of hear this come from a distance. It
Here we go.
hasn't noticed you yet, but there is a big fuck off ogre that's just coming through the trees right.
We see it yet or no?
You can tell something's there. Like it.
So I'm perched in a tree. Am I able to quickly just fly just above the tree and just go, "Oh, guys," and just let everyone know?
I mean, everybody's awake and aware that something is coming right now, so it's up to you.
Okay, no, all good.
Okay, what is the party doing?
I'm
Panicking.
gonna find a good spot to get out of the way. 16 on a stealth check.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mort's gone to hide. You can move your character to like the trees or something if you think that's a.
Lorrei wants to say
ambush position.
I would also like to hide in a tree.
with a box of scraps.
Okay, considering
Are these trees thick foliage?
they're more tall and there's thicker foliage towards the top. If you kind of think like gum tree style, they don't really have a lot of branches all the way up. It's just more towards the mid to upper sections that you find the branches. But you feel.
In case I'll just hide very much behind one of them.
You could hide in the tree if you decided, but you're deciding. Okay, give me a stealth check.
Everyone?
Well, from Ian. So far we've had Ikki,
10.
Mort, and Ian. Okay, no worries. Dr. Cottage and Lorrei, what are you doing?
I'm gonna hide in the trees as well.
Are you getting up into the trees?
No, I'm gonna stay on the ground, but I'm just gonna hide behind the trunk.
Sure, give me a stealth check.
I think it's the same for me too.
Cool. So everybody's hiding. So actually,
16.
Ikki, I didn't get a stealth check from you. Can I have a stealth check, please?
Oof. And the 8.
No problemo.
I think Ikki's in the top of the canopy though.
Ikki, fine.
22, guys.
Yep.
Great gone.
Okay, so this ogre. Now, I didn't ask this before, but was there a campfire?
It's hard to say.
I actually don't know.
There would have been.
At the time.
Look,
I feel like there would have been, guys.
There would have been.
Okay, so this ogre is aware of your fire. He's not aware of you at the moment. At least not right now. Is there anything anybody wants to? I'm gonna. Does anybody have anything they want to do while they're waiting at the moment?
I look to Big Z and go, where is it? And 5, 10, 10, 20, 25.
What I'm just going to get you guys to do, we're not in combat yet.
Yeah.
But just for turn order, can I get everybody to roll initiative, please?
Holy crap, a decent one for once.
7.
Okay, Dr. Cottage.
Rolled a
16.
Lorrei?
I rolled a 17.
Ikki?
14.
Ian?
19.
19. Nice numbers, guys. And Mort?
9.
9. Clearly not as well accustomed to this adventuring stuff as everybody else. And the ogre. Okay, so hilarious. Ian, what are you doing?
Guessing.
Anyone know Wingardium Leviosa?
What was that?
Anyone know Wingardium Leviosa?
Are you doing anything, Ian?
I take it it's coming our way.
It's noticed your campfire. It hasn't noticed you.
I think I'd like to scamper back further.
Okay, I would like another stealth check from you if you decide to move.
Ears. $15.
15, no worries. You're still unrevealed. Do as you so desire. Each box is 5 feet. 2. Okay, Lorrei?
I
Hiding
look
behind this
to-
tree.
I looked to Big Z and I asked him, "Where is it?" And
Big Z points out to where the ogre.
yeah, essentially, just points directly at it
Yep.
at this distance. And he and I would like to go to a cider tree over here. I'm assuming another stealth check is required.
Yes, please.
Should be better this time. Yeah, it is. I disappeared.
Cool.
20.
You're undetected, Dr. Cottage. It's on you.
Yep. How far away is it?
At this point in time, 1, 2, 3, 4. 14 times 5 is like about 50 feet, 50, 60 feet.
Okay. I'm going to wait until it's if it gets into a 30-foot range
From where you are?
from where I am. I'd like to cast blindness and deafness.
Okay, no worries. All right, no worries. We'll keep a trigger on that. So you're holding your action with blindness and deafness.
Yeah, it's a third range is 30 feet. Yeah.
Cool. So if it gets within this circle, you will cast blindness and deafness.
Neat. On himself.
Okay. Ikki, what are you doing?
I'm going to move back into the trees with the others.
So you're making a move?
Yes, please.
Okay, can I get a stealth check, please?
Just move.
Beautiful. 23, thanks.
23, you are undetected.
And where do you move?
Your mic's not unlocked. Yes, and I will fly from treetop to treetop over.
By the way, I'm expecting the campfire to be around here.
Yeah, that's about where I thought.
Yep.
Cool. Now,
Everyone stay
it will be
quiet and
Mort.
don't do anything.
Mort's turn.
I open up a bag of crisps.
What were you doing?
No.
So I'm probably going to know that pretty much everybody has moved. So I'm now the closest one. So I'm also going to try to not to be the one right out in front. So I'm going to shuffle back a little bit behind this tree.
Can you move your token, please?
Yep.
Every
Dean, I
day.
think you need to
Okay.
select the orange circle on the side of the board.
Sorry.
I think you need to select the orange circle on the side of the board somewhere.
Oh yeah, it's actually. Oh no, he has.
Make your character your color.
He
What
has.
do you mean?
No, there's no white available for this character on the table. Is yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
okay. So, what I would like is I need Dr. Cottage, Ikki, Ian, and Mort, because you're all clustered right into one tree.
Oh,
I would all like you to roll stealth at disadvantage, please.
oh, you. Why are you all hiding in this tree, you fucks?
I was thinking more like roll for the tree's strength to see if it holds all the people.
I'm
I got
behind
a
the tree.
16, but I'm in the tree.
Ikki's at the top of the tree.
There's a lot of you around this tree at the moment.
Oh,
This
guys-
is
Guys, why do we see?
having fun. Let the DM have his fun. All right.
9.
Okay. 16.
5.
self at disadvantage. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, natural 1.
Okay. It is now the ogre's turn.
I wonder where that's going.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He gets just outside your range. And he sniffs the air. He's like,
Something.
he says, me. And he's going to use an action right now to move closer. It's about here, Dean. You have the option to unleash your deafness and blindness.
Yeah, I think it's either one or the other, I believe. The spell.
You need to choose then.
I'm going to
Yeah, blind or deafened. Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Blind or deafness. I'm going to make him deaf.
Okay. What does he need to roll?
So you can blind or deafen a foe. Choose one creature that you can see within range to make a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, the target is either blinded or deafened, your choice, for the duration. Duration is only 1 minute.
That's fine. 1 minute is 10 rounds, and that's a long time in combat.
Okay.
What is
14.
this? What is your
14.
spell DC? It's at the top of the spell.
Pardon?
It's 14.
14?
Yep.
The ogre rolls a 19. So the spell does not take effect, but Dean, you have burnt a spell slot. 2, 3, 4. He gets right next to the campfire and just lets out a bellowing roar towards the tree. He knows people are around. And just and that is his turn. Ian, it is on you.
Oh.
Cannonball.
Oh.
That's the boss.
I would like to cast Hunter's Mark on him.
Yep.
And he's right next to the campfire, right?
He is right next to the campfire, yes.
I have a decent-sized vial of oil, which I'm going to throw at him.
Okay. I think that's... Shit, what is it to do with throw in attack?
Improvised throne. Which is usually a strength check.
Like a straight strength, or is it dexterity or animal handling? Or what?
The
Like,
strength so you don't throw like Mr. Burns.
Just give me a strength check. If you want, you can use. Actually, let me look at your character.
It's 13, and
13,
I might
13.
use the inspiration. Does that add to my roll?
So inspiration allows you to roll at advantage after you know the outcome of a roll.
So basically,
because this oil is it doesn't do any damage, right? Just managed to coat him in oil. At a 13 you hit, and the ogre is currently coated in this oil.
okay.
That is your action. Is there anything else you would like?
No.
Okay, Lorrei, it is on you.
I'm watching the flames. Well, flames to be. All right. Actually, let's get a mic tab. There we go. My things. I think a whole. I'm standing by. I'm waiting to see what happens.
So you need to choose an action if you wish to hold an action. Otherwise, you lose your.
If the ogre gets within 5 feet of me, I will rush out to a different tree. Probably to.
No worries. And your automaton pretty much
follow.
takes its turn with you, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much immediately after me. Yes.
Okay, no worries. So we'll say you've taken the disengage action.
Yep.
You're holding the disengage action, ready to move if the ogre approaches you.
Yes.
Dr. Cottage, it is on you.
All right. So the has the ogre know where we are, or
It's aware of your presence. Yeah. Also, I'm going to let you in with a little DM guidance. Just because a bunch of you guys have not played much before. Anything that is usually like a big, strong creature is going to have a relatively high strength and constitution, but may not necessarily be strong, like have high stats in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Just a heads up.
okay?
Quick question: Did Ian hit him with the oil?
He's covered in oil.
Yes.
Apparently, if it's just an improvised object, whatever it is, it deals 1d4 damage on the hit.
Oh, well, Ian, please.
Oh, hang on. No, I've looked at the flask.
Oh yeah.
And it says on a hit, the target is covered in oil. If the target takes any fire damage before the oil dries, the target takes an additional 5 fire damage from the burning oil.
Cool.
Okay, good.
And it lasts for a minute. I don't know how long it lasts for. The burning
Actually, you know what? I do. We will allow it to do 1d4 damage. So please roll a 1d4.
Righto. Three.
Takes 3 points of damage. It's angry now. It snarls back at you. Okay. So Dr. Cottage, what were you doing?
Oh, jeez. Would a snare work on a large? It says a large creature.
I think it takes a long time to
This is a large creature. You can certainly try.
Okay.
I don't think you can do it because I think it takes a long time to set up.
Oh, it's one of those time
No, it's a spell.
Casting time 1 minute. There you go. Yeah. It's one of those like semi-setup ones.
It's a trap that you set, so that would take you 10 rounds to do. So you should find something else you want to do.
It's a good idea though, but sadly it takes a bit too much time.
You've got Fairy Fire. You've got
Yeah, I know what I can do. Fuck it. Let's do some things. Let us do Chill Touch.
Chill touch. No worries. Roll to hit, please.
Chill touch is always a good one to go for.
4.
You didn't roll the right
Attempted
thing.
direction.
You rolled damage.
Is it the +6 one I got to roll? Yeah, yeah. Natural 20, 26.
Nice.
Okay, so that damage is doubled. So you do 8 points of damage to the ogre. It snarls back at you. Okay. Is there anything else you want to do? Bonus action, movement.
I'm gonna turn invisible.
Okay, so you are currently invisible. Are you staying where you are?
Can I move when I'm invisible?
You can. You've got 30 foot of movement regardless of being invisible or not.
Okay.
It does not change your state.
Okay, well, I'm going to go turn invisible.
Yep.
And I've changed it in my conditions.
Nice.
So see that's an option.
Cool.
And I'm going to move back 30 feet. So I'm going to hide behind this tree.
So you've moved roughly about 15, 20 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your turn done. Ikki, it is on you.
Did he get to do 2 dice rolls because it was a crit?
I doubled the damage that he did.
Ah, right. Nice.
Okay. Who am I close to? Am I close to you, Ian?
Relatively.
I mean, I'm right down on the ground and you're right at the top of the tree. So however tall that tree is.
Can I communicate with Ian first before I make a move?
Depending on what you want to do, you can, as a free action, communicate a little bit, but there's limits. So what do you want to say to him?
Well, I just want to ask, should we light him up?
All right, Ian, I will allow you to answer that question, but generally it would be too far. Sure.
Light him up.
Okay, so in my bag, I've got a tinderbox and a torch. Do I go for the tinderbox?
Tinderbox is kind of like Carl's thing. You know, he's got all these keys. It sort of does.
Yeah.
So that would.
So
Yeah.
the torch then. So I just have a flaming torch in my bag all the time. Is that what's going on?
You would have to light the torch. It would take an action to light the torch.
Can I?
Just as a notice, he's standing next to an open fire.
Oh yeah. Stupid me. Okay. I think I might try and. Can I fly to this tree here? I'm assuming the fire's in front of him, in between him and me, correct?
It's the red circle on the map.
Okay. And I'm going to. Can I fly above this tree here? A bit higher than him.
Yep.
Taller than him, out of his reach, is what I mean.
Yep.
And somehow, make noises and whatnot and get him to walk or at least follow that path so he's distracted and looks up above the fire.
Okay, I need you to make me an intimidation check at disadvantage.
Oh, oops, let me start again, sorry.
Just roll the same thing. Don't click disadvantage, just roll it one more time. We just take the low.
It was an 8 in this case.
It would have been an 8 then.
Yeah.
Sure. Unfortunately, he's well aware that Ian and Mort are in his vicinity. He's not distracted by you.
Is intimidation intimidating or is it luring?
There's no role to lure someone. This is the placeholder. You're trying to get his attention. You're trying to you want to lure him, so you're trying to intimidate him with your presence to get him to come in your direction.
Is that technically a move then? What I've done?
It's an action to intimidate.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So you've still got a bonus action available to you. You've done.
Can I my bonus action? Yeah, Elliot, you tell me about this.
If it was just a stone, that's all you can do.
Can I throw a stone at him?
You can't throw, but you can activate the ability to have the stones available.
Yeah. Can I activate the ability to get the stone ready?
Sure. You
Thank
can
you.
do something. Okay.
Go down and grab a stone.
Mort, it is on you, buddy.
All right. Yep. I'm going to. Yep. Ian will hear this, but I don't think anybody else will. I'm going to say Kolako, and I'm casting Toll the Dead, Wisdom save 13 for Mr. Ogre.
He rolls a 6.
Nice. Indeed.
So that is unfortunately only 3.
Oh, that's
He takes 3 damage. Is there any other effects from Toll the Dead, or is it just damage?
Let me just quick double check. It's no, just 3 necrotic damage.
No worries. He takes 3 necrotic damage, and he snarls and gets really angry. And
and I'm going to use my movement to sneak back a little bit farther. Not really sneak because I can't.
Yep, that's fine.
Evacuate the area.
He sees the movement of the tree, and Ian, he knows you're there since you had, unfortunately, not a great stealth roll. And he comes right up to you, and let's see, he is going to swing. He's going to smash his great club straight down. And
does Ian have partial cover because he's in a tree and the ogre's really tall?
It's like trying to hit an ant with a cricket bat. You know how the edge of the cricket bat never really hits the right spot.
How big is it? Like, is he as big as the tree? If he's as big as the tree, he's looking through a tree to see the little person.
The club's bigger than Ian at this point. Let's just put it that way. So he's got a broad surface to smack with. Even if he smacks a little bit, it's gonna freaking hurt.
Yeah, it's more like harder to see. That's all I'm really suggesting.
The ogre's moved around to a vantage point where the tree's not necessarily in between him and Ian. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the thought, though. I appreciate it.
I also appreciate the thought.
It is a 22 to hit.
Oh, that's a hit.
And he
got that baseball.
He rolls low and does 7 points of bludgeoning damage. And then and that ends his turn. And we're back to Ian.
Right. Oh, back. How tall is this dude?
I'm going to assume he's somewhere between 8 and 12 feet.
Okay, so I could like run between the legs, sort of thing.
There will be a.
He's not above the trees. He's just a big boy.
He's between 9 and 10 feet tall. You can try to run between his legs.
So what you're saying is, I am in the right height for twig and berry smashing.
Yes. If you want to run through his legs, let me know. That'll be a contested roll.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just going to twig and berry smash.
Twig and berry smash is. Roll to hit.
Hang on, let me find the thingies.
the twigs and berries?
Yeah, they're not difficult to find. You big target.
I mean, he's got a butt flap, so
It's
Yeah.
swinging there somewhere.
just
Swinging at the swinging.
So, he's hunter's marked
yes,
as well. I'm pretty. Is that an additional 1d6?
I believe it is.
I'm trying to find spells there. Okay, cool. Right. 17 to hit.
17 hits.
Right. 8 and 9 damage total. But specifically to the twig and berries.
He growls and winces a bit, but he's still standing. Is there anything else you want to do?
Yeah, I can move around him, can't I?
Around him, yes. If you move away, it'll be an attack of opportunity. Just gonna pee real quick.
No. Suspenseful.
I move behind him.
Nice.
Who's up?
Me.
Lorrei.
That's a true DM right there. Well done.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Let's see if I've seen touch.
What are you doing, Lorrei?
I know, hang on, let me quickly check. Calm down. Lorrei looks to Big Z and nods at him, and he rushes over 5, 10, 15, 20, grabs a flaming bramble from the pit and rushes over and just casts it straight onto the ogre.
All right, give me an attack roll. No proficiency, so how does that work? It's an improvised weapon again. Damn you guys and your improvisation.
Yeah.
Just give me an unarmed strike.
Unarmed strike.
Yep, it'll be at the top of your list.
Yeah, but it's not mine, it's his. So, unarmed strike is based off strength, which is the same as mine. So I think it's the same. I think that might be okay. Let's go to attack. Unarmed strike. You. That'll do it. 22.
22 hits. We'll say it's 1d6 fire damage. I believe 5 fire damage from the
flame,
oil, correct?
3 damage from the bludgeoning.
Cool.
And he will have 2 rounds of flame. I had a quick look up.
And Ian, how much fire damage does it take? You're muted.
Yeah, it's I'll fill in for him at the moment. He takes
Inventories,
5
hang on. I think it's 5 fire damage. I'm not sure if it's per turn or how long the oil lasts, though.
It's 2 rounds.
2 rounds, cool. So 5 fire damage.
Yeah.
2 rounds, the end of his turn?
Probably, yeah.
Cool. Okay. So that is Lorrei. Well, is there anything else you want to do?
Lorrei. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Rushing in for a smacky smack.
Okay, you flanking, so advantage.
Yeah. Uncle Z. Let's go into my actual attacks. There we go. Oh, there we go. Where the hell's my staff gone? Where is my staff? Did I delete my staff? What happened here?
I've just enabled it.
Oh, and did I just not? Oh, I unequipped it. That's why. There we go. Let's put that back on me. You silly goose. There we go. Right. And advantage. Rolling. That'll do it. 22 on advantage.
Roll damage.
Better be. I mean this.
That's battle.
Ah, it's only 4 damage. That's a shame.
4 damage.
4 damage.
He's still looking. He's looking hurt. Is that your end your turn?
Yes, that would be my end my turn.
Dr. Cottage, you're up. Does your invisibility end now?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
Cool.
I'll get rid of it. Is Ian wounded?
I've been hit by a club once.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Healing Word on you.
Thank you.
Okay, roll healing.
Heal is the word.
10.
10 points.
10 healing?
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm
Damn.
using a second level spell. So
Nice.
I didn't realize. So that's where my blindness deafness came from. So I was like, oh, it's 2d4 plus 4.
Nice.
Roll.
So 3 plus 3 plus 4.
Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I'm just gonna stay where I am, I guess. I
Cool.
just wanted to heal. Ian.
All right, Ikki.
Does that give me temp HP over my health?
No.
Okay.
Is that me?
Yes, on you, Ikki.
Is he on fire?
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he is.
Can he be any more on fire? Is that pointless?
You can do more fire damage to him, but you won't create more fire intensity.
Okay, I'm going to. Can I move first? Can I fly to the back side of him, so flanking him from the back? Does that make sense?
Well,
In
what's your fly speed?
60, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Thought it was 50. Check.
You're flying 50. There you are.
Cool.
50. Okay.
I've just got everyone's tabs open just faster. I just
You're fine to move there. You're not in melee, so regardless of where you move, it won't be flanking.
Okay, so can I fly above his right shoulder?
Yep.
And can I please do a ice knife, please?
You can certainly try.
I will certainly give it a shot. Keep in mind, I'm out of what I believe is his arm's length and club length.
He's between 9 and 10 feet tall.
I can fly 15 feet or higher, and I've got that protective necklace.
You can keep flying as high as you really want to.
Sweet.
Really.
I have 11 knots. That's great.
11 just hits.
Ah,
Oh.
there you go.
Surprise, there we go.
Please roll damage.
Is that just the... Oh, there it is. It has been a while.
It's been a while.
5.
So he takes 5 points of damage. Lorrei, how tall are you?
I will check because I knew this was going to be part of it. It is 6'5".
6'5". Okay, that ice shard explodes.
Mm-hmm.
I need you and Uncle Z to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Yep. Remember that chat yesterday, Emily? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah. Shot happens, so I'm successful, and I will have to do a manual one over here. That's a 3 for him. So Big Z gets clipped.
So Emily, you need to roll damage for that again, I believe. Is that right?
I believe
I'm just checking ice knife.
Yeah.
takes 2d6.
Yes. So you need to go to the bottom left corner, select.
I was 2d6 Tuesday.
Yep.
Did you do it at first level or second level?
I don't know.
It's all right. It's all right. You probably did it at first level. Just roll 2d6 bottom left corner.
And damage.
So Big Z takes 10 damage.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay. Is there anything else you want to do, Ikki?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Mort is on you.
All right. How hurt does the ogre look?
Despite just being on fire, you can sort of tell it's pretty hurt.
Okay. Then I'm gonna say Strela and Eldritch Blast
Oh boy.
with a 24.
Yeah, that'll do it.
24 hits. Please roll damage.
That's 10.
10 does a significant amount of damage to the ogre, who's still standing. Is there anything else you want to do?
But sorry, what did you do, Mort?
Eldritch Blast.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yep. No, I'm going to stay where I am.
Cool. It is now the ogre's turn.
Takes 5 damage for flabbing.
Yep, he's on fire. He's
It's
looking,
a flamming.
he's looking real bad right now.
Mhm.
He spins around, he looks up the air, he sees Ikki's a little bit out of place. He turns, he looks at Big Z, and he does a swing. 14 to hit.
That is a miss.
This club flies through the air. You hear this heavy-winded whoosh as it slides past, missing Big Z altogether. And we are back to Ian.
Okay. Which way is he facing?
He's facing towards Big Z at the moment.
Okay. He just...
Right now, he's being flanked by Lorrei, so you've got advantage on a melee strike.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering if I can jump up onto the back of his head, like onto his shoulders. But I'm not sure. So
You've got the ring of jumping, don't you?
yeah, that's movement, isn't it?
I
So
think
I can-
bonus action to activate.
So I move around him, my however many foot that I need to jump up,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do that successfully.
and then jump and up onto his shoulders.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Need to do a check to land there.
Are you particularly wanting to land on him, or are you just coming down on him with a strike?
Well, if I'm allowed to come down on him as a strike, that would be ideal.
Please roll to hit.
Okay. Yeah, docking his other head didn't work, so this one better do.
Cue the Attack on Titan soundtrack. Get him.
I still got to see that.
That's a 17 plus 6 to hit, so I'm pretty sure that's a hit.
Please roll damage.
Please roll back up.
12
Damage.
and hang on, where are my spells?
It doesn't really matter at this point. How do you want to do this?
Oh, just cave in the skull. Just
Whomp him.
This ogre, in his fierce rage, doesn't see this coming as this warhammer just caves his head in, and his head crushes down into his shoulders as he just falls forward into the dirt, completely.
I want to ride him down.
Oh my.
Superhero landing.
Sure. We let this happen since this is a killing. And you're left standing at the top of this ogre, warhammer pressed down into the top of him, breathing heavily as you look around and survey the area. And we are
We're out of combat, sorry?
we're out of combat.
Oh man, is that it? Is that all? Is that all that happened? Is that it?
Are you not entertained?
We're good.
Man, that was fun. I want to fight. Let's do that again.
Just glad we're not. Oh, he DC'd.
Oh, you did.
Dana, you there?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
How long before you have to leave for work?
Well, that's what I'm doing now. I'm starting work at 12, so in 45 minutes. So
That's fine. This is a good place for us to wrap up. Everybody is going to continue the night and get a good night's sleep. So everybody gets to cycle a long rest.
Woohoo.
Yep.
So reset your spells, reset your health. Emily, this cures your exhaustion. And this is where we will pick up next session.